Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to this special news report live from here at Hadiq al-Mahdi, where we are shortly awaiting for His Holiness Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad Ayatollah Ta'ala bin Aziz to carry out the inspection and inauguration of the Jalsa site. So it's going to be a very blessed moment for all of the organizers and the volunteers and the workers who've been working so hard tirelessly over the last few days and weeks to get this Jalsa site ready. Now, it's a 208-acre site of farmland, and according to the local rules and regulations, the organizers only have 28 days to set it all up and take it all down. So it is quite a momentous feat to be able to do that. In this live news report, we'll be speaking to one of the officers of JalsaSalana about how they prepare for this. We'll also be speaking to some of the cyclists who've come all the way from Germany, some from Denmark, and some even from America to join the Germans who've cycled here. And we'll also be hearing about the power of prayer in improving Jalsa year upon year. But before of that, let's take a look at how some of the preparation has been coming along. Will this year's Jalsa be the best one yet?
Inshallah, every year gets better and better, inshallah.
सबीले उल्फतो इश्के खुदा लगती है जलसे में.
With just days to go until JalsaSalana UK 2025, preparations at Hadiqat al-Mahdi are progressing at pace. For the thousands expected to attend from across the world, this vast farmland will once again transform into a spiritual city of worship, brotherhood, and hospitality.
By the grace of Allah, alhamdulillah, I think we're very pleased with the progress. Allah has enabled the weather to hold for us, and that is always a great asset. And all the contractors have come on the times that were slotted to them, and the tasks that were given to our volunteers. By the grace of Allah, they've carried those out very, very well. The Vakarimul has been wonderful. The numbers that have been coming here, large numbers of volunteers are coming here on a daily basis. And in the 28 days that we have to turn this farm into a convention site and then back into a farm, by the grace of Allah, we made full use of every one of those 28 days.
Turning empty fields into a functioning international convention site is no small feat. From infrastructure to logistics, the preparations are the result of detailed planning carried out throughout the year.
Planning, it's all to do with planning, and we finished the Jalsa in August, and by the time we've settled all the bills, it's November, and when we start again, it's December. So it's an all year round planning that is critical to making sure that, but most of all, it's Allah's hand, and we depend on prayers and Huzoor's guidance. And without those two things, I think we would be in the loss, even though whatever planning we do.
Each year, improvements are made with the comfort and convenience of Jalsa guests in mind, following the constant guidance of Hazrat Khalifat al-Masih V, may Allah be his helper.
So this year's Huzoor guidance was improving the facilities for the people in terms of the size of the marquees. There was also disturbance for some people in the Jalsa, so we've improved discipline in the Jalsa and increased the amount of space that people can enjoy listening to Huzoor's speeches. So there are additional spaces for people to listen to Huzoor's speeches. So yeah, each year the improvements are there for everyone to see.
One of the most noticeable changes this year is in parking and transport, helping ease congestion and improve access for the guests of the Promised Messiah alayhi salam.
The thing that you'll notice most this year is the new car park that we've put in place. Again, with the help of our neighbours, we've managed to secure extra car parking on their site, but most importantly on our own site, due to this new extra gate that we're able to use on the neighbour's field. We're also encouraging people to come on the trains and buses, so we've increased the subsidies for our members to encourage them to come on public transport and have very efficient shuttle services from Alton Station.
But the British summer brings its own unpredictability, something the organisers have prepared for in detail.
The British weather is always unpredictable, and so we always have to prepare for the worst. We prepared for torrential rain because we've had that over many years, over the past few years. And so we spend a lot of time and effort making sure that we have track on site. And then, by the grace of Allah, when we get extreme heat, that is also a challenge because then you have to worry about hydration and make sure the marquees are cooled. So we have to have air conditioning in place. So a lot more air conditioning this year because the heat wave that we've experienced in the UK for the last few weeks.
Through prayers, hard work, and detailed planning, the preparations continue, ensuring that JalsaSalana UK 2025 will, once again, be a gathering of peace, spirituality, and progress.
Now, as you've seen in that report, it takes thousands of volunteers to get Jalsa up and running, some 7,000 Atfal, Khudam, Lajna, and Ansar as well. To talk us through a bit about that, we have with us one of the Afsar of Jalsa Sanana, Irfan Qureshi Sahab. Irfan Sahab, Jazakallah for joining us.
Jazakallah for having me.
Jazakallah. As I've just mentioned, Hazur is about to carry out the official induction and inauguration, inspection, I should say, and inauguration of the JalsaSalana. As one of the main organizers, how are you feeling? What's the atmosphere like this evening?
Assalamu alaikum. Now that Khalifatul Masih has arrived on site, Jalsa has begun for us. It takes months of planning, and now we have Khalifatul Masih arrive on site. He's going to carry out the inspection for us, and this thing is an amazing blessing for us. JalsaSalana 2025 has started. There have been a huge amount of changes this year in terms of especially the traffic flow on site. And the traffic flow is such that we have got a new entrance, which was there last year. The entrance arrived. Cars can arrive from the one of the gates. It is at an angle where cars can come directly into the site to the new car park areas that we have created. And also our main gate where the cars actually come in, that has also created a special movement of cars in a way that we can speed up cars coming in. So that's a huge improvement. The other improvement that we've had is that last year we did not have this telephone mast and we struggled with connectivity. This year we have this temporary telephone mast which has magnanimously improved the connectivity. Hadur Aqdas himself was concerned about connectivity, even if you have to pay something, but by the grace of Allah, this temporary telephone mast is now there and connectivity. And immediately as Hadur arrived, he asked the same question about telephone connectivity. Alhamdulillah, that's live and working. People are able to contact each other. We've made huge improvements in the kitchen as well this year, especially from a gas point of view and the burners and what have you. We've improvised the gas facility so that we can cook food properly for the guests of the Promised Messiah. These small improvements every year actually train us to ensure that we can serve the guests of the Promised Messiah in a much better way.
Absolutely, and shortly we're going to be hearing about Hazur's guidance and prayers which led to these improvements. But one thing which is unpredictable is the British weather. Yeah. We've seen the extreme heat last week, then we saw rain, then we saw the cold. We just haven't seen snow yet. But how do you carry on with the preparations with this unpredictable weather?
The thing is, over the years, there's been huge amount of planning, especially through the guidance and prayers of Hazrat Amirul Mumineen. A couple of years ago, we installed these land drains through the site, and those land drains are maintained now. So it eases off. If there is any rain, any water then dissipates into the streams very quickly now. This British weather is always unpredictable. Luckily this year, what has happened is a lot of the setup was complete before the rain started. So the forklifts and all the heavy machinery had completed their setup. And what was happening is there were spells of sunlight, spells of rain, so it was allowing the land to dry and the water was dissipating, which was helping through the land drains that were installed a couple of years ago. Now, alhamdulillah, the site is pretty dry. You don't see ponding anywhere. So alhamdulillah, it's a huge improvement on the site.
And Jalsa is always a big occasion anyway, but are you expecting this to be the biggest one yet?
We have planned, as per Hadur's guidance, for 50,000. We are expecting large numbers. Whether we'll reach 50,000, that's time will only tell, but we are fully prepared to get an attendance of 50,000. All the planning has been done in that way. We've increased the amount of tracking, we've increased the amount of supplies, and to ensure that we are prepared for a much bigger attendance than previous years.
Amazing. And finally, if I can just ask you a bit of a personal question, it must be quite a pressurized role, very stressful. There's a lot that, I don't want to make it even worse for you now, but there's a lot, weighing on your shoulders. How do you cope with all of that?
It is all through the prayers of Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen. Every time you have a problem, you write to Huzoor for prayers. And Alhamdulillah, the UK Jamaat has been holding Jalsas for many years. We have trained teams to cope with any sort of situation. And when you're stuck with a situation, you pray to Allah Ta'ala for guidance, and you request prayers to Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen. And through his prayers, by the grace of Allah, everything falls into place.
Amazing. Jazakallah for your work, and may Allah bless your efforts. Jazakallah Irfan Qureshi Sahab. Jazakumullah. So as you've heard there, it is all prayers, and that actually leads us very nicely on to the next report, which is about the power of prayers and Hazur's guidance in improving JalsaSalana year upon year. Because in the last few years there were some challenges in terms of car park and also in terms of connectivity. But let's see this next report about the power of prayers in improving JalsaSalana.
Last year, as you know, the Jalsa went very well, but there was only one downside, which we all experienced, is the communication.
We tried an internet Wi-Fi system, but that didn't work effectively either.
Hazur instructed us to try our level best to approach the different companies.
So 2024 went past, there wasn't any internet connectivity. Attendees had a few issues that they faced.
When I met Hazur, Hazur was really concerned, and Hazur was keep asking what can we do to do this.
And Maqbool Sahab after the mulaqat called me. And I said to him, Maqbool Sahab, Hazur himself raised this point. He himself inevitably would have prayed. And I said, Maqbool Sahab, we're trying, we're putting our efforts in, but now watch how Allah Ta'ala works miracles. This mulaqat was on a Saturday. On Monday, 2 days later, in January, out of the blue, we received an email from EE saying that in February, in the last week of February, can we come to your Jalsa site and we want to put this EE tower for you. With the grace of Allah, as you can see behind me, we successfully have got working EE mast this year. Now this telecommunication company have said, we'll put a temporary tower up for this Jalsa, but after this Jalsa finishes, we'll come and put a permanent tower up. This couldn't happen without Allah's fazl and our beloved Hazur's prayers. I remember in one mulaqat, Hazur said to me that we should look at overflow car park. And one thing Hazur mentioned in the mulaqat was there are certain people who might even give land for free. For a very long time, I was trying to find some site which could be given to us for free, and thus I could fulfill what Hazur Anwar Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr Aziz had said. And we were finding parking which were coming at a cost. But suddenly I came into contact with a college in Alton. Whilst in conversation, I met a director there. I mentioned to him what he thought of us using their car park, and he said that it sounds very promising, we can help, but I'm leaving soon, so I don't know if I could help, but I'll put in a good word. And when I spoke to the facilities manager, but he also said that I'm leaving, but I'll make sure that for this year at least you have the car park. And I said, how much do you want us to pay you? And he came back to me and he said, no, don't worry about it, it's in the summer holidays, we're not using the site, so take it for free. And he said, look, I'm leaving, but I'll mention it to the people, the facilities team here that manage it. A month and a half ago, I went to see the new facilities team. So I went there and I explained the Jamaat, I explained Hazur's initiatives. When I went home in the evening, they had sent me the contract back, and when I opened the document, they had sent me the contract that for the next 5 years, we can use the site for free. ये दिन बरकतों के खुदा की इनायत और शफ़क़तों के ये जलसा हमारा ये दिन बरकतों के.
So just as we've been on air live here today, I've just been told that Hazur Eidullah Ta'ala bin Nasr Aziz has been on site inspecting, carrying out the inspection of the site, and shortly he will address the workers gathered in the main marquee as well, giving them guidance on how to conduct their activities and take care of the guests. That report will be available later this evening, so look out for that on MTA News on YouTube. Before that, let's take a look at the story of the cyclists who've come all the way from Germany and Denmark. And some Americans also flew to Germany to join those cyclists coming from Germany for this JalsaSalana, like they do every year. And then they also had a picture with Hazur later on. So let's take a look at that report.
Cyclists from the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Denmark completed a journey of over 1,300 kilometers from their mosque to Islamabad Tilford this week. The six cyclists didn't have an easy ride, having to traverse through jungles and forests on their way to Islamabad. We caught up with some of the cyclists to hear more.
हमें आज 7वां दिन है 5 दिन में हम हॉलैंड पहुंचे थे 6ठे दिन हम बैतुल फतूह आज हम इस्लामाबाद पहुंचे हैं मुश्किल तो है इसके लिए ट्रेनिंग चाहिए होती है तकरीबन हमने एवरेज 150 किलोमीटर हर रोज़ तकरीबन किया है और उसमें कम से कम 2 से 3 हम ब्रेक भी करते थे लेकिन मोस्टली हम एंजॉय करते हैं टूर को कोई स्ट्रेस के साथ नहीं आए
जज्बात ये हैं कि जो सारे पिछले 8 दिन की जो थकन थी वो सारी ख़त्म हो चुकी है यहाँ पे आके जो एक नज़ारा देखा है जो कल हमें वहाँ पे बैतुल फतूह में वेलकम मिला है और यहाँ पे जो हमें वेलकम मिला है और सब जगह मतलब जो पिछले 8 दिनों की जो थकन थी वो सब हमारी ख़त्म हो गई है और बहुत ज़्यादा इस वक्त जो है खुशी महसूस हो रही है यहाँ पर
There is a flow of happiness. Words cannot describe it. Maybe my tears will describe it. What I'm really looking for now is to see my beloved Hazur, the reason why we are here.
These weren't the only cyclists who made the journey to Jalsa this year. Groups of Khaddam and Ansar from America flew to Germany to join the German cyclists who make this trip every year. They all had the blessed opportunity to have their pictures taken with Hazur Anwar, may Allah be his helper, in Islamabad. As the days of Jalsa inch closer, the revelation of the Prophet Messiah, upon whom be peace, that they shall come to thee by every distant track is being fulfilled once again. Labid Mirza, MTA News.
So that's all we have time for today. We've been talking about the preparation, and Jalsa is just tomorrow. So all of us in the MTA team have to go and prepare as well. Hazur is also about to address all the workers. So Jazakallah for watching, and make sure to follow MTA News on YouTube and on social media for continued coverage all across Jalsa. It'll be broadcast live on MTA International, and we'll be showing you the highlights and all of the clips so that you can continue following with the coverage. But that's all we have time for today. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.